Have you ever wondered why some relationships are more fulfilling than others when it comes to intimacy? It's a question that touches on everything from emotional connection to physical satisfaction. In this video, we're diving into the fascinating world of sexual and emotional intimacy, exploring the psychological and physiological factors that can elevate your relationship to new heights. By the end, you'll gain a deeper understanding of how both men and women experience attraction, pleasure, and connection in unique ways, and how to enhance it in your own life. Stay tuned, because we'll be uncovering essential insights like how women are more likely to achieve orgasm in stable, committed relationships than in casual ones. You'll learn why effective communication is key in meeting both partners' needs and how understanding concepts like sapiosexuality, attraction to intelligence, can play a significant role. Plus, we'll discuss the truth behind myths like the dead vagina syndrome and the real science of female sexual pleasure, including the often misunderstood G-spot and the impact of various stimulation techniques. You'll also hear about how the right environment and emotional connection influence attraction and satisfaction. Did you know that women are drawn to partners who stay active, even without a muscular physique? The link between physical fitness, health, and sexual vitality is vital, and we'll explore how maintaining an active lifestyle can boost intimacy, especially as you age. But that's not all. Understanding the psychology behind women's preferences, fantasies, and emotional triggers can profoundly impact the connection you share with your partner. From the importance of body language and grooming to exploring new dynamics in your relationship, you'll discover how to keep things exciting and emotionally enriching. So, don't miss out. Stick with us until the end for advice that could transform how you approach intimacy, relationship building, and self-confidence. Let's dive in. And remember, if you find this video valuable, subscribe to our channel and hit the notification bell to stay updated on all our future insights. If you are not subscribed, I recommend subscribing and activating the notification bell so you don't miss any videos. Your support means a lot to me, and if you enjoyed this video, you can help me continue spreading the valuable lessons by liking and sharing it. If you like the topic of this video, please comment 1. If you don't, please comment 0 to let me know how I can improve and make better videos for you. Now, let's begin. In the realm of intimate relationships, it's becoming increasingly clear that emotional depth and commitment play an essential role in a woman's sexual fulfillment. Research and real-world experiences suggest that women are more likely to experience deeper and more frequent orgasms in stable, long-term relationships compared to casual flings or one-night stands. The key difference is the emotional bond, trust, and sense of safety that are typically present in committed relationships. When there is a solid foundation of love, respect, and mutual understanding, intimacy becomes something sacred, a shared space where both partners feel valued, seen, and heard. This connection is not just physical. It's emotional, psychological, and even spiritual. Women are far more likely to let go of their inhibitions and experience sexual pleasure when they feel secure in their relationship, knowing their partner respects them not only as lovers but as whole, complex individuals. In contrast, casual sex often lacks this profound emotional connection. One-night stands, while thrilling for some, tend to be more focused on the physical aspect of sex, often with no emotional attachment or lasting intimacy. In such encounters, it's much harder for women to relax fully and enjoy the experience. Without the safety net of emotional trust, the mind can remain distracted, and true sexual pleasure, especially orgasm, becomes difficult to achieve. This speaks to the importance of the emotional foundation that comes with stable relationships. When two people know each other deeply and trust each other completely, the intimacy shared becomes a beautiful, holistic experience that goes far beyond physical pleasure. Maintaining a fulfilling and balanced intimate relationship is not a simple task. It requires constant effort, understanding, and a willingness to adapt. Relationships evolve, and so do the needs and desires of both partners. What's crucial is the ability to communicate openly about these changes and make adjustments to ensure both people's needs are met. In a truly great relationship, partners work together to create an environment where both can thrive, where both feel heard, loved, and respected. This means sometimes letting go of unrealistic expectations and being open to compromise. It means not only caring for your own needs, but being mindful of your partner's as well. In my opinion, intimacy isn't about perfection. It's about mutual care and the willingness to understand one another's wants and needs. Emotional intimacy, trust, and empathy are what truly sustain long-term relationships, making the physical aspects of intimacy even more fulfilling. One concept that has fascinated me recently is sapiosexuality, or the attraction to intelligence. In many ways, sapiosexuality takes intimacy to an entirely different level. For those who experience it, physical appearance takes a back seat to intellectual connection. There's something incredibly powerful about engaging with someone whose mind excites and stimulates you. The depth of a person's thoughts, the way they think about the world, and the perspectives they offer can spark a level of attraction that is unique to intellectual connections. It's not just about a shared conversation. It's about a profound connection that goes beyond surface-level attraction and taps into the deeper, more meaningful parts of who we are. Sapiosexuality highlights how emotional, mental, and intellectual intimacy can play an essential role in physical attraction, making it even more meaningful when the mind is as engaged as the body. However, despite how much we learn about intimacy and relationships, some myths persist. One such misconception that irritates me deeply is the idea of dead vagina syndrome, which falsely suggests that a woman can lose vaginal sensitivity as a result of having frequent sex. This idea is not only untrue but damaging. It perpetuates harmful stereotypes about female sexuality and undermines the truth of how the body works. Women's sexual health is far more complex and nuanced than this myth suggests. The reality is that the clitoris, the organ responsible for most women's sexual pleasure, has approximately 8,000 nerve endings, significantly more than the penis. This makes it incredibly sensitive and key to sexual pleasure. The idea that women would lose sensitivity from regular sexual activity is just not backed by any scientific evidence. Maintaining a healthy, active sex life can help women feel more connected to their bodies and increase overall pleasure. Women's sexual health and satisfaction are influenced by much more than frequency. It's about the emotional connection, the physical attentiveness, and the open communication between partners. Furthermore, there's an important fact that people often overlook. Studies and experts have consistently found that only about 20% to 30% of women can achieve orgasm solely through vaginal penetration. This statistic is both enlightening and eye-opening, as it sheds light on the complexity of female pleasure. It reinforces the idea that intimacy is about more than just physical acts. It's about exploring the body, connecting emotionally, and creating a shared experience that allows both partners to reach their fullest potential. For many women, achieving orgasm requires a combination of factors, including physical touch, emotional engagement, and mental relaxation. Foreplay, emotional connection, and the ability to communicate about desires are vital to unlocking the deeper pleasures of intimacy. So, when I hear people talk about sex in such simplistic terms, it frustrates me. True sexual satisfaction is multidimensional, and it's about so much more than just the act itself. At the end of the day, the essence of intimacy lies in the connection between two people, both emotionally and physically. The more we understand the intricacies of female pleasure, the more we can appreciate how important it is to create an environment where both partners can be vulnerable, open, and deeply connected. Sexual intimacy is not just about satisfying physical urges. It's about creating a space for both people to feel safe, loved, and cherished. It's about exploring desires, being present with one another, and building a foundation of trust that makes the experience even more meaningful. In my view, it's this emotional and physical fusion that makes intimacy so powerful, and it's why relationships, especially long-term ones, hold the key to the most fulfilling sexual experiences. During a woman's climax, there is a profound and widespread activation of various regions of the brain, each contributing to the intensely pleasurable experience that can sometimes feel all-consuming. This complex neural activity doesn't just affect the body physically but creates an overwhelming emotional surge as well. In fact, for many women, This heightened brain activation can make it possible to experience another orgasm almost immediately after the first. It's as if the mind and body are so aligned during these moments that one orgasm seamlessly leads to the next, building a wave of ecstasy that feels like an endless journey of pleasure. But it's not just the climax itself that creates such profound intimacy. It's the journey to get there, the connection between the two people, the trust, the vulnerability, and the understanding of one another's needs. These moments of connection, which can seem fleeting, are so deeply impactful. They are where true intimacy is forged, where partners are united not just in physical pleasure but in emotional and psychological closeness as well. There's something uniquely beautiful about the small, tender acts of affection that partners share, especially when they come at unexpected moments. For instance, many women deeply appreciate soft kisses on the lips or the forehead while they're falling asleep. These gentle gestures are not just about physical affection. They are about feeling truly seen, loved, and cared for. It's a silent reassurance that, beyond the rush of the day or the chaos of life, there's a partner who values them, who is present, and who is devoted. These small acts of tenderness can be so powerful in nurturing the emotional bond between partners. The intimacy created by these quiet moments is invaluable. More than just words, it's the language of love expressed through touch, a way of saying, "I am here for you," even when the world around you is still. Another deeply important aspect of intimacy is the act of sharing fantasies. This exchange can feel so intimate, as it involves not just a physical connection but a sharing of one's inner world. When partners open up about their fantasies, whether they are small, innocent dreams or deeper, more adventurous desires, it strengthens the emotional and physical ties between them. It's an invitation to trust one another in ways that go beyond the bedroom, a chance to explore each other's desires and vulnerabilities. The act of communicating these fantasies allows couples to build a deeper connection because they're acknowledging their inner worlds together. It is a space where judgment is left behind and mutual respect desires take its place. Sharing fantasies can open doors to new ways of connecting and creating an even more satisfying relationship, one that transcends the surface level and taps into the heart of what makes each partner feel alive. Women's sexual preferences are incredibly varied, each one as unique as the woman herself. What brings pleasure to one person may not hold the same significance for another, which is why understanding and embracing these differences is key. The way one woman responds to touch, stimulation, or even the emotional dynamics within the relationship can be vastly different from another. This is where communication becomes vital. A successful sexual relationship isn't just about figuring out the physical how-tos. It's about openly discussing what feels good, what doesn't, and what may need to change. The more you talk, the more you understand each other's desires and boundaries. Without that open dialogue, it's easy for misunderstandings to arise, and intimacy can begin to feel disconnected. In healthy relationships, these conversations about preferences, needs, and boundaries are not just beneficial but essential for growth. It's through these discussions that true understanding and a deeper emotional bond are built, and that's what makes intimacy so meaningful and fulfilling. However, it's crucial to note that external societal pressures, particularly around body image and unrealistic standards of beauty, can often harm a woman's self-esteem and negatively affect intimacy. Society's narrow and often unattainable standards for what a perfect body should look like can make women feel insecure about their appearance. And when this happens, it can create a barrier between them and their partners. When women feel uncomfortable or self-conscious about their bodies, it can interfere with their ability to feel fully connected or relaxed during intimate moments. These pressures can diminish the joy of intimacy, as the focus shifts from emotional connection to physical insecurity. Both partners need to create a safe, accepting environment where body image isn't something that takes away from the experience but instead becomes something to celebrate. True intimacy can only thrive in an environment where both partners feel free to express themselves without judgment or fear of rejection. Now, speaking of the much-discussed G-spot, it is a concept that has fascinated many but remains a source of mystery and confusion. The reality is that not all women experience the G-spot the same way, and for some, it may not even exist in the way that it's commonly understood. The location, sensation, and even the pleasure it can provide vary greatly from woman to woman. This variation is important to acknowledge, as it's easy to get caught up in the idea that there's one right way to experience sexual pleasure. But the truth is, each woman's body is unique, and sexual pleasure is an entirely personal journey. For some, focusing on other erogenous zones can be just as rewarding, if not more so, than searching for the G-spot. One area that many women find intensely pleasurable is the neck. It's often regarded as an underappreciated zone, but when touched gently or kissed softly, it can send waves of warmth and desire through the body. More than 97% of women report that the neck is a powerful erogenous zone, and when you think about it, it makes sense. This part of the body is sensitive and close to vital arteries, making it a place where light touches or kisses can create a strong sense of pleasure. There's something undeniably intimate about kissing or gently caressing a partner's neck. It's a place that feels private, tender, and deeply personal. The neck is a zone where physical affection can quickly lead to a deeper emotional connection, enhancing the overall experience. Every woman experiences pleasure differently, but the neck is a common thread that many women find irresistible. Ultimately, the most profound form of intimacy is about understanding one another's emotional and physical needs. It's about embracing the complexities of each other's bodies, desires, and vulnerabilities. When partners can communicate openly, create an atmosphere of acceptance, and explore each other's fantasies and preferences, intimacy becomes something truly special, an experience that connects them on a deeper, more meaningful level. It's through these shared moments that couples build lasting bonds and experience a connection that goes beyond just the physical, into the realm of emotional fulfillment and mutual respect. Human sexuality is an incredibly intricate and deeply personal experience, shaped by a multitude of physical, emotional, and psychological factors. One of the more fascinating aspects of female pleasure is the fact that only around 1% of women can achieve orgasm purely through nipple stimulation. This highlights just how unique and specific each person's sexual response can be. Pleasure isn't one size fits all, and this rare occurrence speaks to the amazing complexity of the human body and how subtle differences can lead to vastly different experiences. This can sometimes be frustrating for those seeking to understand how to please their partner, but it also underscores the beauty of intimacy, where discovering what makes someone feel good is often an intimate journey in itself. Speaking of intimacy, oral sex remains one of the most common fantasies shared between men and women. It's a powerful and tender form of connection, where the focus shifts to pleasing the other person. It's deeply intimate, raw, and often seen as a highly desirable form of foreplay. There's something incredibly satisfying about the vulnerability and trust involved, whether it's the anticipation or the physical sensations. These fantasies don't just highlight what people crave in a partner. They also emphasize the desire for emotional closeness and the need for validation and pleasure from someone you trust. When we turn to the experience of the female orgasm, it's both beautiful and complex. The duration of female orgasm can vary dramatically, with reports showing it can last anywhere from a mere 3 seconds to an intense 51 seconds. This range of duration indicates the diverse experiences women have when it comes to climaxing. This vast difference doesn't just lie in physical arousal. It is also influenced by emotional connection, mental state, and external circumstances. It's important to remember that these experiences aren't just fleeting moments of pleasure, but emotional releases that can deeply affect a woman's well-being. For some, orgasm is a purely physical experience, while for others, it's profoundly emotional, unlocking layers of intimacy with their partner. In addition, it is essential to acknowledge that women can ejaculate, which is a different phenomenon from squirting or orgasm itself. Female ejaculation is often misunderstood or conflated with other types of fluid release, but it's a unique bodily function that involves the expulsion of fluid from the skin's glands. This distinction helps us further appreciate the multifaceted nature of female sexuality. It's another example of how the body can experience pleasure in ways that defy conventional understanding. Despite the many facets of sexual pleasure, research shows that approximately 2 out of 3 people report being dissatisfied with their sex lives. This statistic speaks volumes about the gap between expectations and experiences, and how often people feel disconnected or unfulfilled in their intimate relationships. Many factors contribute to this dissatisfaction, including lack of communication, mismatched desires, or a lack of emotional and physical intimacy. This is why it's so important to address not just the physical aspects of intimacy, but the emotional and psychological layers as well. True satisfaction comes from both partners feeling heard, understood, and valued, not only in the bedroom but in all aspects of the relationship. When we consider specific sexual positions, each one offers its own unique set of sensations and emotional connections. For example, the 69 position is often seen as the epitome of mutual pleasure. It allows both partners to engage in reciprocal acts of intimacy, fostering a sense of equality and shared desire. In contrast, the doggy-style position, which is often favored by men, is known for its ability to offer deeper penetration and heightened physical connection. The feeling of being able to explore and connect with a partner in such an intense and physically engaging way can be exhilarating. It's a reminder of the raw, primal side of sex, where depth and intensity combine to create an unforgettable experience. Sexual activity, however, isn't just about physical pleasure. It's a full-body experience that requires coordination, trust, and emotional vulnerability. The physical aspect involves multiple body parts working in harmony. Muscles, nerves, and senses all coming into play at once. This is why maintaining an active lifestyle is so crucial to sexual health. Regular exercise doesn't just benefit overall well-being. It also plays an instrumental role in improving physical performance during sex. It helps maintain flexibility, stamina, and circulation, all of which are necessary for a fulfilling and pleasurable sexual experience. Taking care of your body is taking care of your intimate life, and this is an important lesson for anyone looking to enhance their physical connection with a partner. Ultimately, sexual satisfaction is not just about the physical act itself. It's a complex, multi-layered experience that involves emotional closeness, trust, communication, and physical connection. Pleasure is a journey that's shaped by an individual's body, desires, and experiences. When these elements are in alignment, intimacy becomes something much deeper and more fulfilling. Taking the time to explore these nuances, communicate openly with your partner, and prioritize both emotional and physical health are the keys to creating a satisfying and meaningful sexual connection. Studies have consistently shown that women are often more attracted to men who engage in physical activities, particularly those who play sports. This attraction doesn't necessarily depend on having a muscular physique, as many might assume. It's not about how big your muscles are. It's about the energy, confidence, and vitality that comes from maintaining an active lifestyle. A person who regularly participates in sports or any physical activity exudes an aura of health and vitality that is undeniably magnetic. There's something deeply appealing about someone who values their body and pushes it to its limits, showing a commitment to not only their physical well-being but also their mental and emotional resilience. I've always found that people who engage in regular physical activity seem to carry themselves differently. They walk with more confidence and move with purpose, and their overall energy is contagious. It's not about looks, but about the self-assurance that comes from being physically fit and healthy. This quality of confidence that doesn't rely on body type is, in my opinion, one of the most attractive things a person can radiate. It speaks volumes about their dedication and discipline, which, frankly, is deeply admirable. For women, their desires and experiences related to intimacy and attraction can change as they journey through different stages of life. Menopause, for instance, is often seen as a time when women might experience a shift in their sexual desires. What many don't realize is that during menopause and other phases, there can be an increase in sexual desire as women come to terms with their own evolving sense of self. As their bodies go through changes, many women find themselves embracing their sexuality in a whole new way. There is a beautiful, often untapped potential for connection during this time. The changes that women experience can lead to a deeper understanding of their own needs, desires, and preferences, ultimately enriching their intimate relationships. Intimacy itself, within a relationship, is something that evolves. What may start as a physical connection or a simple romantic spark can deepen as you grow and learn about each other. The bond between partners can become more intricate, emotionally, and spiritually fulfilling as the years go by. And yes, intimacy can change and adapt as life circumstances do, but there's something incredibly profound about that evolution. It's a testament to the resilience and beauty of human connection, and a reminder that love is a living, breathing thing that flourishes with care, patience, and understanding. From my perspective, I think it's essential for women, and everyone really, to have access to good sex education. Knowledge about our bodies, desires, and sexual health is so empowering. When women feel confident in their understanding of their bodies and how to communicate their needs, it opens the door to more fulfilling and anxiety-free sexual experiences. In many ways, good sex education is not just about anatomy or techniques. It's about building confidence, fostering communication, and creating an environment where both partners feel safe and respected. For women, this can be a game changer, allowing them to fully embrace their sexuality and intimacy without fear or shame. And let me take a moment to remind you, if you've made it this far, I'm truly grateful for your support. You're amazing. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on any of the exciting content we have lined up. And as a little bonus, if you subscribe, you'll get a shout out in the next video. Just a small token of my appreciation for you. But now, let's move on to something fascinating. Testosterone is often seen as the quintessential male hormone, and for good reason. Not only does it play a crucial role in a man's physical traits, but it also significantly affects attraction, particularly because of the unique scent it produces. Yes, that's right. Testosterone has a distinct scent that women find irresistible. The connection between scent and attraction is often overlooked, but it plays a crucial role in how we perceive one another, both consciously and unconsciously. The smell of testosterone is deeply primal and instinctual, something that triggers an emotional response in women. It's as though that scent speaks to something fundamental in human connection. Perhaps it's the sense of strength, dominance, or raw energy that it represents. So, if you're looking to increase your attractiveness and become more magnetic to women, you might want to consider using a cologne designed to mimic the scent of testosterone. These fragrances are specifically crafted to highlight that very essence, that intoxicating, powerful scent that comes from the hormone. What I find intriguing is how such a small change, something as simple as scent, can make such a huge difference in how we are perceived. It's not just about smelling good, it's about tapping into something deeply ingrained in our biology, a signal that transcends words and directly impacts attraction. By using a cologne that mimics testosterone, you're not only enhancing your scent, but subtly increasing your magnetism, making you even more irresistible to women. In the end, it's the little things, your energy, your confidence, the scent you wear, that often have the biggest impact. And when you understand the science behind attraction, it can help you connect on a deeper level. Trust me, embracing these insights will undoubtedly make you feel more confident, more aware of the subtle signals you're sending out, and more empowered to build meaningful, attractive connections. It is incredibly rare for couples who are strikingly similar to maintain a deep, lasting romantic relationship. While being with someone who shares your interests, values, and habits can seem comforting at first, in the long run, it can feel as if the relationship lacks the depth, excitement, and growth that make love truly fulfilling. In relationships where both individuals are too alike, there may be a sense of stagnation, where both partners fall into predictable patterns, leaving little room for exploration, surprise, and real emotional connection. True intimacy thrives in spaces where two people complement each other, bringing out the best in each other through their differences as much as their similarities. This delicate balance is what creates an enduring, passionate bond. This is why the Carezza approach to sexual intimacy resonates so deeply. It's not about rushing to the finish line or seeking instant gratification. Instead, it encourages a deep emotional connection between partners, focusing on nurturing affection, tenderness, and genuine love. By shifting the emphasis away from orgasm as the ultimate goal, Carezza fosters a space where emotional vulnerability and shared moments of affection take center stage. In relationships that practice carezza, intimacy becomes an experience of mutual care and understanding, where each moment together is valued not for what it leads to, but for the connection it builds between two souls. This, in my opinion, is one of the most powerful ways to experience love. It's a bond that transcends mere physical pleasure and builds a lasting foundation of trust and emotional intimacy. Women, in particular, are drawn to men who take the time and effort to care for their appearance. While it's not about fitting into societal standards of beauty or perfection, there is something deeply attractive about a man who looks after himself, a man who takes pride in his grooming. A well-maintained beard, a neatly styled hairstyle, or simply clean, crisp attire are not superficial traits. They signal a level of self-respect and thoughtfulness that can't be ignored. This level of self-care speaks volumes about a man's ability to care for those around him, and it's something that women deeply appreciate. It shows that he values himself, and in turn, he is more likely to value the relationship he's in. In a world where appearances are often hastily judged and superficiality is commonplace, the act of grooming oneself with purpose and intention becomes an emotional gesture that reflects the care he's willing to put into his well-being and the bond he shares with his partner. If you are still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment 1 below to let me know that you are still here with me. From my own experiences, I've realized that there is nothing more captivating than a man who shows genuine effort in winning a woman's heart. It's not just about grand gestures or flashy declarations of love. It's the small, consistent acts that truly matter. When a man puts in the effort to win your heart, to understand you, and to make you feel seen and valued, it creates a connection that is rich and meaningful. The pursuit should never be too easy, because when it's easy, it loses its significance. There is something magical about the chase, the slow building of trust, the gradual revealing of hearts, and the mutual discovery of one another. The effort he puts in to win her over makes the relationship feel more special, more intimate, and more deserving of both partners' emotional investment. A relationship that's too easy often feels less authentic, less intentional, and more disposable. But when both people invest time and effort, the relationship becomes something far more valuable. It becomes a space for growth, for learning, and for truly sharing your lives. Sexual fantasies, often misunderstood and sometimes dismissed, can play a fascinating and positive role in a healthy sex life. While fantasies do not always reflect true desires, they serve as an exploration of the imagination, allowing partners to break free from the constraints of daily life and tap into new realms of excitement and creativity. Fantasies can add playfulness and curiosity to a relationship, opening the door to fresh experiences and deeper intimacy. They allow partners to explore different aspects of themselves that they may not feel comfortable expressing in the real world. But what's crucial to understand is that fantasies are a form of creative exploration, not necessarily a reflection of one's deepest desires or needs. They are meant to be a fun addition to intimacy, not a replacement for genuine emotional connection. Introducing new elements into the sexual relationship, whether through play, fantasy, or simply trying something different, can reignite sexual excitement and deepen emotional bonds. It's about creating a space where both partners feel comfortable, open, and curious about each other. New experiences can refresh a relationship, making it feel more vibrant and less predictable. But it's also important to approach these experiences with care and respect. It's not about pushing boundaries just for the sake of novelty, but about introducing elements that both partners find exciting, comfortable, and fulfilling. The idea isn't to chase after every fantasy or try to meet every expectation, but rather to explore new layers of intimacy in a way that feels meaningful and enriching. In relationships that prioritize emotional connection and shared intimacy, there's an incredible opportunity for both partners to grow together. It's not just about the physical act, but about the bond that's formed when two people truly connect, when they share their desires, fears, and experiences. The emotional depth that grows from this connection is what keeps love alive, long after the initial excitement fades. When both partners invest in building this connection, the relationship becomes not just an experience of pleasure, but a journey of mutual respect, understanding, and growth. It's a bond that strengthens with time, creating a relationship that's resilient and deeply fulfilling. Ultimately, intimacy, in all its forms, is about emotional connection. It's about caring for each other, respecting each other's boundaries, and taking the time to truly understand one another. It's about sharing moments that feel genuine, not just chasing after a fleeting sense of satisfaction. Relationships that emphasize emotional depth over physical gratification create a love that's richer, more meaningful, and long-lasting. When we introduce a new sexual stimulus into a relationship, such as the excitement and novelty of a new partner, it can do wonders to breathe new life into the bond between two people. There's something invigorating about that fresh connection, the feeling of rediscovery, the thrill of exploring new desires and dynamics that have the potential to reignite not just physical attraction but emotional closeness as well. For many, this injection of novelty can act like a spark, reigniting the passion that may have dulled over time. But it's important to remember that while this can be revitalizing, it's not always the answer to every relationship issue. In some cases, introducing a new person or a new experience might temporarily mask underlying problems but not resolve them. That's why communication, trust, and mutual understanding are essential to ensuring that this renewal of passion doesn't come at the expense of deeper emotional needs. It's not just about excitement. It's about staying connected and aligned with each other's values and desires. In contrast, online sexual activities, often referred to as cybersex, can carry their own set of emotional and relational implications. The practice can range from fulfilling and exciting to deeply disappointing or damaging, and much of that depends on the clarity of communication and the mutual consent between the people involved. Cybersex can create a unique emotional dynamic, one where desire and fantasy are often explored in the absence of physical presence. It can bring couples closer, especially in long-distance relationships, or it can create an emotional disconnect if boundaries are crossed without clear agreement. The absence of physical touch, which in many relationships is a vital source of connection, can also take its toll. Simple gestures like holding hands, sharing a quiet hug, or tender caresses are foundational to intimacy, both sexual and emotional. When these physical expressions of affection are missing, it can leave individuals feeling lonely, neglected, and disconnected. It's heartbreaking to think that in an era where communication has never been easier, the absence of this physical closeness can sometimes feel more distant than ever. I believe that without the tactile expressions of affection, something crucial is missing in our ability to feel truly seen and cherished by our partners. It's more than just a biological need. It's an emotional longing that only touch can fulfill. Turning to the concept of polyamorous relationships, there's a certain level of courage involved in embracing a structure that challenges the traditional conventions of monogamy. Polyamory, when practiced ethically, requires individuals to communicate openly, honestly, and vulnerably, both with themselves and with their partners. The idea of loving more than one person deeply, while maintaining respect and boundaries, is revolutionary for many and can offer a sense of freedom that traditional monogamy doesn't always provide. Yet, this freedom comes with its own unique set of challenges. The key to making polyamory work is the practice of ongoing, open communication and consent, ensuring that all parties involved feel respected, heard, and valued. The emotional depth that can arise from this kind of transparency is profound, but it requires people to constantly check in with each other, remain flexible, and challenge their assumptions about love, connection, and desire. There is no one-size-fits-all approach to relationships, and I truly admire the people who can embrace the complexity of love without feeling confined by societal expectations. On the other hand, men who experience erectile dysfunction often carry an emotional burden that can be devastating to their self-esteem and overall sense of worth. The stigma attached to erectile dysfunction can be deeply damaging, both emotionally and relationally. Men may feel ashamed or inadequate, unable to fulfill the stereotypical masculine roles they have internalized. This can create a vicious cycle, as the anxiety and self-consciousness surrounding their condition may worsen the problem, leading to even more frustration and emotional distance. What many fail to recognize is that intimacy is not solely defined by physical performance. True emotional connection, built on trust, communication, and vulnerability, can transcend any physical limitations. It is heartbreaking to me that so many men struggle with this issue in silence, feeling isolated in their experience. I believe that relationships can be enriched and deepened when both partners can connect on a more profound, emotional level, where love and affection are expressed in ways beyond the physical. That emotional depth, I think, is what ultimately sustains a lasting bond. Additionally, yoga has long been known to benefit both the body and mind, and it's no surprise that regular practice has been associated with improvements in sexual health. Many individuals have reported experiencing greater sexual satisfaction and increased libido through yoga, and I've seen firsthand how it enhances not only physical flexibility but also emotional openness. The act of focusing on one's breath, becoming attuned to one's body, and learning to let go of tension can create a deeper sense of self-awareness and relaxation. This heightened awareness translates directly into the bedroom, where a more relaxed, in-tune body can lead to greater enjoyment and intimacy. I've found that yoga allows me to approach sex and intimacy with a greater sense of calm and presence, something that's easy to lose in the hustle of life. It's incredible how such a practice, which may seem so unrelated to sexual well-being, can have such a profound effect on how we experience intimacy with others. Moreover, the way we approach intimacy is often shaped by our attachment style. Whether someone has a secure, avoidant, or anxious attachment pattern can significantly influence how they experience both love and sexuality. These deep-seated emotional blueprints inform how we relate to others, how we express affection, and how we navigate challenges in relationships. For example, someone with an anxious attachment style may seek constant reassurance from their partner, while someone with an avoidant attachment style might struggle with emotional closeness. These patterns are not fixed. They are shaped by early life experiences and can be modified through self-awareness and growth. I've come to appreciate just how much these patterns influence our capacity for intimacy, and how understanding them can help foster deeper emotional bonds. Sexual activity, as a result, isn't just about the physical act. It's about how we feel connected, safe, and valued by our partners. Lastly, I think it's crucial to challenge the myth that sexual activity declines with age. The truth is that sexual satisfaction doesn't have an expiration date. Many people find that as they age, they become more attuned to their desires, more comfortable in their skin, and more willing to communicate openly with their partners. Age brings with it a certain freedom, a liberation from societal pressures and expectations. It allows for a richer, deeper connection that goes beyond the physical and into the realm of emotional and spiritual intimacy. There is no right age for sexual satisfaction. It's a journey that evolves and deepens as we do. It's about embracing our changing bodies and our shifting needs, and finding joy in the moments of intimacy that remain. And then there's the matter of scent. It's often overlooked, but scent plays an incredibly powerful role in attraction and desire. Research has shown that certain smells can trigger arousal, connecting us to a primal, instinctual part of our being. Scent can evoke memories, create a sense of comfort, and heighten attraction. I've always been fascinated by how something as intangible as smell can have such a profound impact on sexual chemistry. It's a subtle, often invisible force, but it shapes the way we experience attraction, and it's something we can all tap into when we become more mindful of the environment we create around ourselves and our partners. It's these small, almost imperceptible cues, touch, scent, body language, that often have the greatest impact on our emotional and sexual connections. When we allow ourselves to be fully present and aware of these subtleties, we open ourselves up to deeper, more fulfilling experiences of intimacy. It's crucial to understand that human sexuality is a vast, multifaceted realm, and while some people may experience sexual arousal triggered by violent fantasies or themes, this does not necessarily mean that these individuals will engage in violent behavior in real life. This idea challenges some of the common misconceptions we have about the connection between fantasy and reality. Many people separate their inner fantasies from their actions, knowing full well that what excites them in their minds does not translate into how they behave or treat others. The mind, with its wild and sometimes inexplicable imaginations, often dances to its rhythm, and it's important not to make assumptions about someone's actions based solely on their private thoughts. Human desires are not so straightforward. They are shaped by a complex web of emotional, psychological, and environmental factors that influence how we experience our sexuality. What's particularly fascinating is how environmental factors like the weather can have such a profound effect on our sexual desires and behaviors. For example, warmer weather, especially in the spring and summer, tends to have a noticeable impact on many people's libido. The temperature rise, the gentle touch of the sun on the skin, and the increase in natural daylight all seem to awaken something primal in us. There's this natural, almost instinctual urge to connect with others when the air is warmer and the days are longer. When the sun's rays hit your skin and the breeze carries a sense of freedom, it's hard not to feel more alive and attuned to your senses. Studies suggest that warmer seasons see an uptick in sexual activity. People, quite simply, feel more energized, more alive, and more inclined to engage in intimate connections. The bright, glowing sunshine can stir something deep inside us, making us more open, more present, and more willing to experience pleasure. It's as if the world around us becomes more colorful, and our inner world responds to that vibrancy with an increased desire for connection and intimacy. Music, too, has an undeniable influence over how we experience attraction and intimacy. Music is one of those rare forms of art that bypasses the intellect and speaks directly to the heart and soul. When we listen to music with someone special, it's as though we share a moment in time that is both intimate and transcendent. A song's rhythm can set the tone for how we feel, while its lyrics can carry meaning far deeper than we realize, creating an emotional connection that words alone might fail to do. When certain melodies play, they seem to evoke feelings that we may not even fully understand, be it passion, longing, or comfort. Music can trigger powerful emotions and deepen the bond between people. It's not unusual for a particular song to become your song, a memory that binds two people together forever, symbolizing the emotions you shared in that fleeting moment. Just imagine being wrapped up in a slow, soulful ballad with your partner, every note reverberating through your body, every beat sinking your heart to theirs. Music has this way of enhancing emotional intimacy, creating a backdrop that strengthens the connection between two people. It's one of those beautiful, unspoken things that has the power to deepen relationships in ways we can't always explain. If you are still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment below to let me know that you are still here with me. When we talk about love, Robert Sternberg's theory gives us a framework to understand its multifaceted nature. Sternberg suggests that love consists of three components: intimacy, passion, and commitment. These three elements, when combined in different ways, create varying forms of love, each one unique in its expression. Intimacy, the emotional closeness between two people, forms the foundation. Passion, the intense desire and attraction that often fuels the spark in relationships, brings heat and fire. Commitment, the decision to stay and build a future together, ensures that love endures through challenges and time. These components are not static. They shift, evolve, and grow throughout a relationship. The beauty of love lies in the combination of these elements, and the way they can change, depending on where two people are in their lives together. When intimacy and passion align, it can ignite a flame of intense connection, often leading to a passionate and sometimes explosive relationship. But when passion is coupled with commitment, love can become steady, deep, and incredibly fulfilling. Understanding Sternberg's model reminds us that love is not just one feeling but a complex blend of emotions, and each relationship is a beautiful, unique manifestation of these elements. But what about those moments when sexual arousal seems to occur involuntarily and unpredictably? It's a complex phenomenon, one that doesn't always have a clear cause or trigger. There are instances when sexual desire arises seemingly out of nowhere, and for some, it can be confusing, even overwhelming. This kind of involuntary arousal can feel like an uncontrollable force, as if the body is reacting to something beyond our conscious understanding. It can be frustrating for those who experience it, especially when it doesn't match the situation they find themselves in. Perhaps it happens without any obvious external stimulus, or maybe it's triggered by something so subtle that the person doesn't even realize it. This experience can cause discomfort for some, especially when the cause of the arousal isn't apparent. But it's essential to recognize that sexuality is deeply personal and can be influenced by factors beyond our immediate awareness. Hormonal fluctuations, emotional states, or even just the mind's intricate workings. It is a reminder that we are complex beings, and our sexuality is not always predictable or rational. What's important is approaching these experiences with compassion and understanding, recognizing that everyone's relationship with their desires is different, and all experiences, no matter how puzzling they might seem, are worthy of respect and kindness. At the heart of all of this is the understanding that our desires, emotions, and connections are deeply personal. Human sexuality is a journey, one that is shaped by our bodies, our minds, and the world around us. Our desires are not one-dimensional. They are fluid, evolving, and deeply entwined with our identities, our relationships, and our experiences. Whether we're influenced by the environment, by music, or by the inner workings of our minds, our sexuality remains an intricate part of who we are. Embracing this complexity and approaching it with openness and respect can lead to more fulfilling relationships, a deeper connection to ourselves, and ultimately, a greater sense of intimacy and understanding with others. So, what have you learned so far? We've explored so many crucial aspects of intimacy and connection, from the fascinating science behind female pleasure to the emotional and physical factors that play a role in creating deeper, more fulfilling relationships. We've discussed how stable and committed relationships tend to provide a better environment for sexual satisfaction, why communication is key, and how understanding things like sapiosexuality and personal grooming can have a significant impact on attraction. But more importantly, we've explored how mutual respect, effort, and emotional bonding are essential for a truly satisfying connection. The key takeaway here is that intimacy isn't just about physicality. It's about how you nurture and grow the emotional connection with your partner over time. Whether it's through meaningful conversations, small acts of affection, or maintaining an active lifestyle, every detail matters. Now, think about all the valuable insights we've shared. What's one thing you've learned today that you'll bring into practice in your own life? How will you use these insights to deepen the connection with your partner or enhance your personal growth? We'd love to hear your thoughts, so please take a moment to share in the comments below. Your perspective could help someone else on their journey, and we truly value the conversation we're building here. If you found this video valuable, don't forget to leave your comment below and let us know what stood out to you. Your feedback means the world to us and helps us continue creating content that's relevant and meaningful. And if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, share it with your friends, and subscribe to our channel. By doing so, you'll never miss out on more content like this that's packed with insights, tips, and advice on improving relationships, intimacy, and overall well-being. Thank you so much for being part of our community. We look forward to hearing from you and continuing this journey together. Until next time, take care and keep building those connections.